Okay, in this video I'm going to cover the last two problems of p75 and the first two problems on page p76. So let's get right to it. Honeybees produce 7 pounds of honey for every 1 pound of beeswax. So 7 pounds to 1 pound. So it's going to, my ratio is 7 to 1, and that's honey to beeswax. I could also write that as 7 to 1, or I could write it as a fraction 7 over 1. Okay. Use equivalent ratios to find how many pounds of honey are produced when 25 pounds of beeswax are produced. Okay, so this is my beeswax along the bottom if I want to change that fraction into a table. My beeswax along the bottom, and my honey along the top. So if I get 2 pounds of beeswax, that's going to be, now I'm going to need another 7 of honey, so 7 plus another 7, that's going to be 14. 3 pounds is going to be 21, and so on. I can keep going. I'm just every 1 pound I'm adding another 7 pounds of beeswax, or of honey, excuse me. For every 1 pound of beeswax I add another 7. So really what we're doing is we're taking the beeswax timesing it by 7. So if I have 25 pounds of beeswax and I follow that rule, I'm going to times that by 7 to find out how much honey I'm going to make. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do that math, and that's where you're going to find your answer. Okay, number 14, a 3-ounce serving of tuna provides 21 grams of protein. So 3 to 21 is our ratio. I could write that as 3 to 21, and I could write that as a fraction as 3 over 21. Use equivalent ratios to find how many grams of protein are in 9 ounces of tuna. Okay, so again, I'm going to make a chart. (3 to 21), and this is tuna. Whoops, sorry about that. This is tuna, 2 grams of protein. So if I have 3 ounces of tuna, I get 21 grams of protein. So if I did 6 ounces of tuna, I would get another 21, which is going to be 42. If I did another 3 ounces, that would be 9 ounces of tuna, and then 21 more ounces of protein, or grams of protein, excuse me. So 21, that would be 63. And the question was, how many grams of protein are in there? 9 ounces. So here's my 9 ounces. There's my answer, 63. 63 grams of protein. So you can see we can always make a chart to help us solve these equivalent ratio problems. That's one strategy you can use. Okay, Jaron paid $2.70 for 6 juice boxes. How much should Jaron expect to pay for 18 juice boxes? Well, again, this is really just a ratio. 6 to 2.70, or 2.7 if you wanted to write it that way. Again, I could write it as 6 to 2.70, or I could write it as a fraction, 6 over 2.70, and then I can make a chart again. Okay. Six, 12 would be next, counting by 6, and then if I got 6 more, that would be another $2.70. You're probably going to want to use scratch paper to do $2.70 plus $2.70. And then this answer is going to go here. And then your next number, 6, 12, 18. So now you're going to take this answer, whatever you got here, and add another $2.70 to find out how much you're going to pay for 18 juice boxes. So I'll let you go ahead and do that math. Again, if you have trouble following that, you can always rewind. Don't hesitate to raise your hand and ask questions if you're uncertain about something. Okay, number 2, a certain shade of orange paint is made by mixing 3 quarts of red paint with 2 quarts of yellow paint. So there's my ratio, 3 red to 2 yellow. I could write that as 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. I could write it as 3 over 2. To make more paint of the same shade, how many quarts of yellow paint should be mixed with 6 quarts of red? Okay, so 3 was my red. So I'm going to make mine above because I'm running out of space below, but I'm going to make a chart. So I have 3 over 2, and 3 represents my red, 3 quarts red, and the 2 represents yellow. So I count by 3s along the top. And it wants to know 6 quarts of red. So 6 quarts of red would be right here. So I find it as soon as I get my next number, 2, 4. I could go on. But it wanted to know 6 quarts. I would have how many quarts of yellow. How many quarts of yellow should be mixed? And that would be 4 quarts of yellow. All right. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to raise your hand.